Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 365. I am your host, Keith Andrew. I'm here with Brian Benson, and I just want to say thank you for being a guest on my talk show.
My pleasure, Keith. I'm happy to be here.
And the honor is all mine. For people who want to know what my talk show is about, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still overcome controversy and let me rephrase that. That's my old saying. The whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. And at the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities. But you should never give up, and you should prove to people you can still amount to something. But labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be, and you should prove to them you can break the labels. Hashtag break the labels. With that being said, it would be a half hour, 35 minutes of your time. Say anything you want, talk about anything, and freedom of speech. And starting off, what can you tell us about yourself?
Wow. Well, Keith, I've been in Los Angeles for 4 years. I'm from Oregon originally. And about 8 or 9 years ago, my world kind of changed. I ended up leaving my family's business. I just kind of felt like I was done growing there. And we operated a golf center, where you can hit golf balls, and we had a golf store and all that kind of stuff. And I did not know what I was going to do, but my intuition told me to just take a leap of faith. And so I did. And right at the tail end of being there, I was struggling kind of finding balance in my life because I really wanted to hit the road and figure out what my next step was. And so I just sat down one day and came up with a handful of things to help remind myself how to keep myself in balance, life balance. And it really helped me, so much so that I expanded the list, and I just felt like I was supposed to write this little book. And so I did, and I was not a writer and hadn't planned on doing that, but it just kind of happened. And that pointed me in a whole new direction. And so when the book came out, I self-published it. I felt like I needed to share it, but I was terrified to speak in front of people. So I started the process of doing a whole bunch of different things to learn how to be more comfortable. I did some community college speech classes. I did Toastmasters for a little while. I hired someone to co-host an internet radio show with me. And these were all really scary, but yet one thing after another kind of helped me build my confidence and, gain some skills. And then I ended up taking an acting class too, with no plans of acting, but just to help me. And it was kind of fun, and I ended up coming up with an idea for a short film about 5 or 6 years ago, and met a young filmmaker, and we did that, and that just kind of empowered me and pointed me in the direction of acting. And so 4 years ago I moved here, just with the hopes of building on the acting as well as the books and trying to share positive media into the world. So that's it in a nutshell, but there's lots of little probably little interesting tidbits amongst the journey itself, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't mind me. I just wrote down a couple of questions that I wanted to ask of you.
I don't want to talk the whole time, yeah.
Actually, before we get to the list, first thing I want to ask you is a big thing. Social media. Can social media make you or break you? What's your opinion?
That's a great question. I think it can do both. Wow. I mean, there's so many different parts to that question, but I think in as far as making someone, if you're putting stuff out there that is authentic, to yourself, and I think that can really inspire people and help others and really kind of maybe bring awareness to some of the stuff you're trying to do. But I think on the other hand, some of us, and I've been this way at times in my life, we get a little too addicted to it, and we spend too much time on it, and it almost becomes kind of co-enabling. And you know what I mean? And you know, there's positive and negative stuff flowing through Facebook, and I just like the news. And so I kind of try to stay away from that and just try to kind of make it work for me and not really get caught up in a lot of the drama. You know what I mean? So I think it can do both. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, for a perfect example for someone like me who wants to show people with a disability, look at what I'm capable of doing. I think social media is good for making someone like that. But at the same time, you have to be careful of what you're saying, because at the same time as you're making something, it can easily break it at the same time. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think so. Have you had some problems?
I met some people here and there.
Yeah. No, social media is a very interesting thing, and for those of us, who maybe try to write a book, or we want to share something, or we want to try to bring awareness to something, everybody's trying to do that, and so sometimes it comes across as being inauthentic, and I struggle with that because I feel proud of what I've done, and I want to share it, but yet sometimes I feel like I'm pushing too much, or you know what I mean? I worry about how other people are going to take that, and I see how other people do it. Sometimes I don't want to look like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that sometimes keeps me from sharing, or you know what I mean, or trying to bring awareness to something that I think is valuable. So it's I'm still trying to figure it out.
No, absolutely. Now let me pass it back to you about social media. Does your following dictate if you should be on TV or if you should get in certain roles? Does that dictate how your career would go?
I don't think social media has dictated that. No, I don't think that's been an effect. I have, the last 5 or 6 years, as I don't know how long I've been on Facebook now, probably 7 or 8 years, but I've got a lot of really great people and friends that, it's hard to follow everybody because there's, thousands of folks potentially, and you don't see everybody's stuff come through on the feed, but for the most part, I feel like I have a really positive group of people that are following, and so, that we're friends with each other, and it's fun to share some of the things that I'm able to get, roles that I've landed, and share some of them with them. It's funny because sometimes I've been cast as the normal guy with kind of a dark side. And so that's a little bit scary to share some of those roles because they're not really me, but yet, you know what I mean? But I don't think it dictates the kind of stuff I get. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Now, the next question that I looked up, I saw that you were a founder of your own company. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, it's fairly new. It was just last November. It's called Reawaken Media. And since I do like to write books, and I've done a few of my own short films that I've written and acted in, and they've kind of got positive messages, and a few little videos and here and there. I wanted to create something that could kind of act as an umbrella for all the stuff that I continue to release. And so I had a children's book come out last November at the same time, and so I just kind of self-published it, and I just kind of had it be by Reawaken Media, and so that was just, it felt good, and I'm, I found somebody to design a logo that I really feel strongly about, and yeah, it's something that I'm glad that I did.
No, absolutely, and if it's any possibility, I would love to work with you if that's an option.
Hey, anything's possible. Right now, I've just been, I just started. I've just been kind of creating my own stuff, but as I go forward, I'm open to, anything.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is the one that stands out the most, as you're a 4-time Ironman, and also you're a public speaker. But the first one I'm going to ask you is, what can you tell us about being a 4-time Ironman champion?
Well, Now, I'm not necessarily a champion. I didn't win. I finished the races. But wow. It was something that was really... I started a long time ago. I did the last Ironman about 10 years ago, but my first one was almost 30 years ago. It's 28 years ago. And so I started when I was pretty young. And I'm really blessed that I did, because I think after I did my first couple, when I was in my early 20s, it gave me a lot of confidence to, I think, realize that, if I put my mind to something, that I could accomplish pretty much almost anything I wanted to. And I also learned that I had a lot of heart and intestinal fortitude. And so those were really special memories that I have. And I almost had about a 20-year gap between my second and third one. And the third one, I was able to have my son cross the finish line with me. He didn't know he was going to do that. He was 11, so he wasn't around for the first two. So that was really a special moment for me, to be able to include him and have him kind of witness everybody out there on the race course that day. Yeah.
Hey, now for the public speaking, who influenced you to do public speaking?
Yeah, great question. I don't know. I think like you've probably seen some people that kind of inspire you when you listen to them, and I don't know if anybody's necessarily inspired me to do public speaking. I think that's just something that's kind of inside of me that started to kind of awaken when my first book came out. You know what I mean? So I don't know if there's a particular speaker that inspired me, but there's been some authors that I've enjoyed reading their work through the years, like Wayne Dyer. I read a lot of his stuff and listened to a lot of his books on audio, and so yeah, I think it's interesting. There's lots of different teachers out there, and they're all teaching a variation of the same thing, and we're all different in the way that we think and learn, and so it's interesting how maybe some people, we all want to learn and grow, and so one of us might be attracted to this person or another one's attracted to this person, but yet we're still all solidifying our foundations and learning and growing as we move forward. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you is...
Can I ask you one first?
Sure.
How about you? Who inspired you to do what you're doing?
That's a good question. Let's see, who inspired me? Well, there's two people that come to mind. Trying to think of something. I would say one would have to be my father.
Nice.
He basically was a teacher for 36 years, and he had Wesley Snipes in his class when he was a kid.
Oh wow.
J-Lo went to school around the corner. My dad met Tony Bennett. He was on the float with Mayor Giuliani. And he met a lot of very interesting people. And I would also see my brother, who's an inspiration of mine. I watch what he does, and I try to mirror image of what I can do. And I'm a big fan of Vince McMahon. I'm a big fan of Eric.
Wrestling?
Yep, wrestling. Vince McMahon, Eric Bischoff. So I try to hold myself to that standard. When I was younger, I used to go for the Randy Orton look when he was the Lesnar killer.
I'm not who? Randy who?
Oh, Randy Orton.
Is he a wrestler?
Yes.
Okay. So I've heard a few of the names and stuff. Didn't really follow it as much as you did, but okay. Okay.
But mostly, cool. My brother, my dad. I looked up to Vince McMahon and Eric Bischoff, and just powerful people I just like to take an interest in. And it's pretty much, for the longest time, I was using my disability as a crutch. Can't do this, I can't do that. So one day I was like, screw it. And I was going to, actually I said, fuck it. It's uncensored. I said, fuck it, I have a disability, I'm handicapped, I'm learning disabled. I'm going to show you I can still amount to something, no matter what. And so for longest time, for about 4 years, instead of I've been doing my show for 4 years, but for the longest time, I'm using my disability as a crutch. So I'm going to show you, a weakness can also be a strength. And I'm, thanks to you, back up to 365. And
That's
this
amazing.
is what I want to do until I die. And I'm very passionate about this.
That's very admirable. That's awesome. Wow. Yeah. Good for you.
Now, the next question I was going to ask you is similar to public speaking, but who influenced you to become an actor, and have you worked with any big names?
I think the thing that influenced me to be, it wasn't necessarily any one person. It was just my own. It's interesting. A lot of the things I've created, the books and some of the videos and short films, all came about as I was working on my own personal self-growth, if that makes sense. And they're all kind of, I don't want to say accidental, but they kind of were almost. They were just kind of accidental. So I never pursued, I had planned on acting at all. And I found it very fun and kind of healing. And since I've been here, I've been taking, studying with some great teachers. And that's been very good for me, for my own personal growth process and learning about myself and, releasing some stuff that's probably been inside of me that needs to come out. And so I don't know if any one actor influenced me to do it. I think it just came about as I wanted to try to be the best version of myself. And so I'm just kind of following the breadcrumbs and see where it leads, if that makes sense. As far as acting with any famous people, gosh, I did a little, I don't know if you can call her famous, I did a little short, one of Nicole Richie's shows a couple of years ago, and then I have a small reoccurring part in a TV show called Sangre Negra, meaning black blood in Spanish. And I had a scene with a gentleman named Robert Miano, who's been in a lot of stuff, and that was fun and intimidating too, and it worked out because my character wasn't to be intimidated by his character, so I could use real life there. But so that was a lot of fun. But that's it so far. Yeah, but I'm very lucky.
Now I'm going to ask you two more subjects. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, pass the show to you. And
Sure.
The first one I'm going to ask you is, you mentioned you were a writer. How many books did you write, and how many scripts did you write?
Well, I've written a few ebooks that I have since pulled, but I have 3 books that are on Amazon now. The first one, the balance book, it's called Brian's List, 26 and a half easy-to-use ideas on how to live a fun, balanced, healthy life. And then I have another book called Finding Your Voice. And then I have the children's book that came out last year called Steve the Alien. And as far as scripts, I've written 2 short films. The first one was called Guitar Man, and the other one is called Searching for Happiness, and they're both on YouTube and on my website. Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. Now, I'm going to make a joke about the Steve the Alien. Is he an alien from space, or is he in legal?
I actually have it's a space.
I try to have fun with everyone.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no. I'm not going to touch the other subtopic. Yeah, no, he's from outer space.
Now, how did he come up with that subject, about having him from space? Because everyone likes to talk about outer space, so how does your character be unique?
That was just another one of those weird things. That's kind of an interesting story in and of itself, Steve the Alien. I started writing it way back in 2004. And I never, wasn't planning on doing anything. They were just almost like I just wrote rhyming kid stories, and it was just kind of a fun little practice for me, almost like a jigsaw puzzle, trying to put it together, you know what I mean? And so I got halfway through, and I kind of got stuck. So I put them away, and about 3 years later, in 2007, I pulled it back out, and I finished it. And then after I left the family business, I moved to Reno, Nevada for 4 years. I have a son who lives in that area, and I moved there to be near him in high school for those 4 years. And I met a guy in Reno who worked for this company that put together children's books, kind of moving picture apps. And I signed a contract with them, and they were going to do 5 of my stories. And they were coming along wonderfully, and the artwork looked great, and then about halfway through they ran out of money. And so the project just stalled. And of course I was disappointed. And after a couple of years I finally just asked them to release me from my contract.
Right.
You know, and so they did. And finally last year, 13 years from when I started Steve in the first place, I just decided, all right, it's time to self-publish this, and I found an artist, an illustrator, and made it happen. And so, to answer your question, kind of where did the idea come from? I honestly don't remember. It's been so long, but I thought it was just sounded goofy, an alien named Steve, and I'm happy with how it turned out, and I'm currently working on a sequel.
No, absolutely. Now we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when
Sure.
we come back, I'm going to pass the show over to you.
Pass this. Uh-oh.
Get a personal video message for yourself or as a gift for someone else. For personal connections, shout-outs, birthdays, proposals, weddings, and much more. Enter your details about yourself so the celebrity can record a personal video message especially for you, including details such as your name, age, birthday, hobbies, or whatever else you include. As soon as the video has been recorded, you'll get an email with your link so you can share it on social media or download and keep it. Celebrities record videos as and when they can, usually within 2 weeks. But if you want a video for a specific date and it does not look like it will arrive in time, you can cancel it and get an instant refund at the click of a button. There are hundreds of celebrities to choose from and many more joining every day. Search by category or genre, buy a gift voucher, get updates and offers, and encourage your favorite celebrities to join so they can connect with fans in a fun and unique way. Raise money for their charities and much more. So order your video now for yourself or for someone else.
I'm so bored.
Want to see something really cool?
Yeah!
Now you'll never be bored again with Loot Crate, a totally bodacious mystery box packed with awesome toys, radical games, and other surprises. And the best part is, you can get Loot Crate delivered right to your door. So don't delay. Ask your parents and order today.
Everything okay in there? Yeah, everything great. I love Loot Crate.
Hello and welcome back to 365. I'm your host Keith Andrew. On here is Brian Benson, and I just want to say thank you for sticking with us. And now I'm going to pass the show over to you. But the one thing I do want to ask you beforehand is, have you ever worked in retail, and do you have any retail stories?
Oh my gosh, lots of retail. The family business, we had a golf store, and so, boy, I worked in retail from high school all the way until I stopped running at about 8 or 9 years ago. So, in addition to that, I worked a little retail here in LA at a running shoe store. Seems like there's some other things too, but yeah, lots of, I don't know if any particular retail stories are coming to mind, but I've seen it all. Happy customers, irate customers, break-ins where I had to go in the middle of the night to turn the alarm off and see what was taken. Yeah, it was a real grind. I mean, for the most part, it was a good experience because people were coming there to hit golf balls and you know, and be happy and that kind of stuff. And but yeah, I had some stressful experiences.
I hear you.
What about you? Huh?
There's a couple of stores. So one of them, where I work in, it's nice to work in. It's just they're breaking a hellfire license.
Oh,
basically,
is
it's basically you know someone throws up on the floor or there's a spill. Common sense would tell you, okay, make sure the person wears gloves on their hand. well, this store's a lot of geniuses. It's like, oh, well, we don't need gloves. You can just use a whole bunch of paper towels. And what I got out of it, as you can tell my voice is kind of nasally, I got him fighting off a cold because what I cleaned up was like some spit or saliva. And I now, I didn't really think of it, but when I cleaned it up, later that night I had like a thing on my neck, and I was scratching at it, and the next day I woke up, and my throat was burning, and, I had known that I got a cold, and I'm like, well, it wouldn't have helped, well, it would have helped if we had, freaking latex gloves. And I'd say, here's some paper towels, go clean it up.
So wait, where were you at?
Well, I won't mention the store because I'm still there now.
Okay.
But they don't use latex gloves, and they don't use garbage bags.
Okay.
It's really disgusting.
Okay. Yeah, no, it sounds like it.
And the other store I used to work at was at Michael's, and I couldn't run fast enough on that place.
Is that the craft store?
Yep, arts and crafts. I was counting how many times I was told to go F myself.
By customers?
Yep. It's so stupid. I remember complaining about coupons, saying, oh, well, this coupon say all items, and at the very fine fit, on a very fine print, it would say selective items. First off, who's got to read the fine print? And it's like, oh, just say all items. So it's all items. So you have to give me the 40%. Oh, well, yes, by the source selective items. And
so you're kind of getting set up to be yelled at.
Yes.
By the coupon. Yeah. That's not cool.
And the other one was I had asked people for their month, day, and year because we sell spray paint. And this guy said to me, do I look freaking 12 years old to you? It's like, no, I have to know month, day, and year. And it's, actually, I'm going to tell you what he really said. It's uncensored. He said, sir, can I get the month, day, year? He said, why? And I showed him on the screen. Security, need a month, day, and year. Do I look fucking 12 years old to you? And then he's like, no, I'm just, I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's, the rules, I have to tell you. And he said, no, I'm not telling you. It's like, okay. He said, forget it. Can I help with snacks? I said to me, actually, I take that back. I didn't say I can help with snacks. I said, can I have a manager over at register too? He said to me, what the hell was your problem? I turned the screen and said, look, this is my problem. Month, day, year. And so he mumbled it. He said, like, February, 84. I was like, can you repeat that? No, if you didn't hear me the first time, that's your problem. And then I called my manager over, and he said, no, fuck you, and fuck the store, and you can blame her for being fired. I hope you get fired. And that was the first one. Second one, like I said, freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression. Second one was I had this customer. I made a mistake. I sort of said it away from him, but I called for the back and I said, hey, we have an irate customer. Can I have assistance to the front? And he said, who the fuck do you think you're talking to? I can really fuck you up right now. Blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that. And I was like, okay, I deserve it. Because I said something stupid. And I said, shouldn't be talking about that. Before he left the store, I was helping the customer. He leans into me and says, you better fucking watch your back wherever you go. And I'm like, well, who the hell talks to people like that?
Yeah.
And the customer who was helping is like, whoa, sir, that is completely unnecessary. And where do you get off? And he's like, you stay out of this, you. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I know it's not politically correct to use the F word, but I like to keep it upbeat tell you real stories, and that's kind of like...
Yeah. Oh, well. Unhappy people. Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah, I couldn't run fast enough on that place. And yet, from the icing on the cake, it's the reason I left the place in the first place. You know, it's funny, haha, in a way, it's because I got it on my birthday, so I was like, hey, happy birthday, what did you do today? I got a job. So I got hired on my birthday.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, well, why you want to work at Michael's, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, I just want a cashier job. That's it? Yep, just want to ring people. And 6 months later, I kind of slipped up, you know, customers would tell me, oh, they'd make arts and crafts, or they were school teachers. You know, what do you do? And I was like, oh, well, this seems like a good idea. I really tell you what I do. I'm a talk show host. And that kind of opened a bag of shit for me. It says, you can't tell people you're a talk show host because you're soliciting. And because of that, they said, okay, let's move Keith to the sales floor. And they said, because I have a learning disability, if you don't teach me like 3 to 4 times, it's not going to sink in.
Yeah.
And it's kind of be like, I don't know where it goes. And that's number one. Number two, I told them, Fridays and Saturdays, I can always close. I can close Fridays and Saturdays. Taxis are open late. What do they do? They put me on during the week. It's like, okay, I'm leaving on 9:30. It's like, oh, well, you know, we talked about you leaving early. It's like, fine. I will cancel the taxi, and you can give me a ride home. Oh, no, there's a taxi there. And it's kind of like, I told you, Friday and Saturday, I can stay late. Okay. So when am I working next? Oh, next Thursday, 9:30. That's, you know, it's just so stupid. That also, and I'm going to pass the show back to you, it's basically they didn't like I wasn't, you know, fast enough. So when they said, oh, you got to figure out where items go, it's like, oh, we're going to teach you where items go, you know, this and that. All right. Jewelry. Where's the jewelry section? I don't know. You go figure it out. And I'm like, you know what? You're just pussing, and it's like, do you want me to leave? And it's kind of like that's basically what it came down to. It's like, you know what? For 1 day of a week, for working 1 day a week at the job, it wasn't worth it. Also being told to go fuck myself too. You know, that was really grinding on my nerves.
Yeah. Nobody should be treated like that.
But I didn't mean to bitch to you. I apologize.
It's okay. It's okay.
Now, the next question, actually, I'm going to pass the show over to you. Was there anything you wanted to talk about? Anything you wanted to ask me?
Gosh.
I know we did talk about my disability before we went back on the air. You can ask me anything. You know, I don't have anything to hide.
Seen any movies lately that you've enjoyed?
I would say Wonder Woman. That has to be the best movie of the year.
Okay. I saw that. It was good. There's a lot of good messages in it. Yeah. I really want to go see Dunkirk.
Yeah, my dad likes that movie. It's really good.
Yeah, I think I'm going to try to go see that in the next couple of days. For sure. What else?
What about... Actually, you mentioned you had your own family store. You know, how did that all come about? You know, how many years was it in the family, and whose idea was it?
Well, it was just a driving range, and I actually worked there before the family got involved. I worked there this was my very first job. When I was in 7th grade, I got hired by the 2 gentlemen who owned it. And I would pick up golf balls and a little old beat-up tractor with a beat-up screen around it to protect me. And it's amazing I didn't get hurt. But I would do that when I was in 7th grade. And then I think my dad bought the driving range from them a couple of years later. And then so I, started working there in high school, just, after school and on the weekends. And then he hired someone else to kind of run it while I went to college and such. And then I was gone for a while and then came back and then ended up expanding it. Made the store a lot bigger and added the 9-hole par 3 course. And so then it was all 3 of those things, and I ended up running that for 11 years.
Oh, nice. So, is it still in business, or?
Yes. Yes, it is still in business. It's not in the family anymore. We sold it, but yeah. My dad, he was an insurance salesman. He had worked in an insurance company for himself, but he was a huge golf fan, and it was just kind of a side business that we did together, but I kind of ran it while he did his other thing. And so, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Now, wrapping up our talk show is, most of my interviews, are a hit and miss, or I tend to just vent. And I do apologize for going on a rant about the whole retail experience, but I like...
No problem.
One thing I do like is keeping it real. This is not like a face, this is not like a persona or something I'm putting on. Hey, you're being upfront with me, I'm being upfront with you. I do have poor people skills, and I have no filter. Like saying, man, maybe using the F word wasn't really a smart thing on my part. But this whole thing is a learning experience. You're not going to hit, I'm not Derek Jeter or A-Rod, where you got to constantly hit home run after home run. You're going to fall, fail, pick yourself up, and you got to learn from it.
Baseball players do too. The best ones only succeed 1 out of 3 times. So, I understand. It's all good.
I try to keep my show in between, PG-13 and kind of 14. So I'm kind of I like to keep it like the Bill O'Reilly show, but have that edge to it, like the Dennis Miller or Bill O'Reilly. No, keep it PG like Bill O'Reilly, but keeping the edge to it, like Dennis Miller and Bill Maher. I was going to say Bill Maher, but Bill O'Reilly came out twice.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah.
But one thing... Oh, go ahead.
You first.
Does anyone ever tell you look like Bradley Cooper?
No, thank you. I've never heard that one before. Wow.
Must be a beard.
Probably, yeah. Somebody said I look like Donnie Wahlberg. A few people have said that.
Well, I would say Bradley Cooper, Chris Pratt.
Well, thank you. Hey. All right, I will say thank you.
I do have a couple of questions for you off the air. While wrapping up, how can fans follow you on social media? And my last subject for you is, I'm a big fan of Bill O'Reilly, so going on the record, apparently. So going on the record, when I first approached you to be a guest on my talk show, what was your first reaction? And after being a guest, how you feel now? You can be completely honest.
No, I didn't really have a reaction. I'm pretty easygoing, and I just try to live in the present moment, and I just go with the flow, and it's been fun. Yeah, I really didn't have any preconceived ideas. Just, it's always an opportunity to learn, and you never know what somebody's going to ask you, and I actually prefer not to know what's coming. That way, sometimes I learn stuff about myself that I didn't know, you know what I mean, when I'm presented with a certain question or what have you. So it's all good. And the other thing, people can see a lot of the stuff that I've created on my website, and that's just the letter G, brianbenson.com. And most of my social media handles are G. Brian Benson. So, yeah, thanks for asking.
No, absolutely. Now, stay tuned. I have a couple questions off the air.
All right.
Wrapping up your interview segment. It was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest, and I'm looking forward to part 2 down the road.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate that very much.